Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Crow's Nest, live from the other side. I'm Sarah Red Crow, and I welcome you all here tonight with me. I will be doing spirit-led free mini readings. So excited to have everyone here tonight. So I don't know about everyone else, but today was quite a busy day. So I hope everyone else had a great day. Hi, Sue. Sue says, hi, I hope you're all doing well. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Jonah. Hi, Sue. I'm so happy to have you here with me tonight. And Amber, hello, Amber. Thank you for joining tonight. So excited to have you. Let's see, on our Facebook group, Sonia, you made it. So Sonia says, good morning from Australia, but good evening to you, Sarah Redco. Yes, good morning to you, Sonia. And Annie says, good to see you. Good to see you, Annie. Sarah Smile says, hi, Sarah. Hi, Jonah. Hi, Sarah. Danielle says, hi, hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well as well, Danielle. And thank you for joining tonight. I'm still learning how to copy and paste the group messages so everyone can see like how I was able to show Amber's. Still figuring that out. So thank you for your patience. Wendy says, hi, Sarah and Jonah. How are you? Hi, Wendy. I'm doing all right. Jonah's doing good. He's showing me him waving at everyone. So thank you. And thank you for joining. Heather says, hello, Heather. Thank you for joining us tonight. Laura, it's nice to see you again. Hi, Laura. I'm just going to jump back over to the group. Sonia says, I'm hoping my mom and my son reach out to you and Jonah today. You know, Sonia, definitely just ask them to come forward to join us tonight. Sonia, I have to ask, is your son a little bit shy? I was getting that little bit of shyness, but I do feel him here with us because I saw him kind of peek around and like wave. Danielle says, I'm hoping I hear from my sweet angel baby. Oh, Danielle, you know, definitely invite your baby in, and I will try my best to connect with everyone who steps forward. Nadia says, hello, Sarah. Hello, Nadia. Thank you for joining. So I love my subscribers says, can you sing happy birthday? It's my birthday. I won't sing, but happy birthday and welcome tonight. Amber says, really hoping to hear from my son. And Amber, definitely ask him to, well, I invite not only your son, Amber, but everyone's loved one to step forward tonight, those who have messages for us. And like I always say on each of my lives, if your loved one doesn't step forward tonight, please don't be discouraged. It does not mean that they aren't with you, walking beside you. Sometimes, and I found this with my own son, when our loved ones are, say, they might have been shy in life, they might still be shy, or if they've been more of a private person, but definitely ask them, invite them in, and just know that they're always with you. That connection that you shared with them in life does not end. It's always there. Sue, thank I just want to share. Sue says, happy birthday. And J-Man says, hello, Auntie. Oh, hello, J-Man. Thank you for joining us tonight. And Renee, Cece says, me, please. Thank you. So, Renee, definitely invite your loved ones into the reading tonight. I am going to do, it's going to be a mixture of spirit-led readings, and that just means as your loved ones step forward, I will be describing how they are presenting themselves to me. So I usually get like how they looked. I often get their personality. Sometimes they'll share with me like a memory. Your job is to just listen. And at any point, if you're like, hey, I recognize that, please speak up. And then from there, I'll just go to who I'm drawn to. Also, if there is anyone that I do feel connected to, I will mention you by name. I don't often get names from our loved ones in spirit, but I'll do my best to give you validate or give you give you that. Yes, that's them. Sorry, I don't know. My mind just went through it. So, Love Bug Blue says, what's coming in for love? So, by the way, I think your name is adorable. Love Bug. Honestly, I feel like stuff when it comes to love and relationships, it's about being open and, putting out into the universe and manifesting like what you need and always being true to who you are. And with love, like I don't even just find that with relationships, but learning to love ourselves. So Ashley Lynn Atwood says, I hope to hear from my brother, Mike. Oh, Ashley, I hope he steps forward for you as well. And thank you for joining. So Elaine says, hi, Sarah, hoping to hear from my daughter, Tony. And thank you for joining, Elaine. And I'm so sorry that you know this journey of having a child in spirit. That's exactly how I started my mediumship. And before we start, I will quickly go into how I started mediumship, but sending you so much love and hugs to everyone. So Carol says, hope to hear from my daughter, Julie. Oh, Carol, I'm so sorry that you also know the pain of having a child in spirit. And definitely for Elaine, Carol, invite your beautiful daughters in, and I will do my best to connect with them. I'm just going to pop over to the group to acknowledge those who have joined. Charlene Donovan, hi. Thank you for joining. Tracy says, hi, Sarah. I'd love to hear from my husband or mom or dad. Tracy, thank you for joining. I know your husband has come through before. He makes me smile when he does. He's a great, great personality. But definitely, Tracy, invite them all in. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I just wanted to show Elaine says thank you. And you know what, Elaine, thank you for joining tonight and having that trust. And Ashley Lynn Atwood says Cheryl Ricketts Stevenson. That's your loved one, Ashley? Definitely invite her to step forward. And I invite, once again, all your loved ones in spirit to come join us in the crow's nest. So I always like to say a little bit about crows and ravens. So I've, not only is it my namesake, but I've always been drawn to crows and ravens. It's said that they're able to cross the veil into spirit and bring our messages to our loved ones. Mind you, our loved ones always hear when we talk to them. and they try their best to answer us. And actually, I just want to put this, it was a tag, sorry. And Cheryl, I'm glad if you are joining tonight, I am very glad that you're here. Okay, so we'll just start off. So a little bit, I like to start by explaining a little bit how I came into mediumship. As a child, I was able to hear spirit, and sometimes I would get like little glimpses of spirit, but being a child, I didn't really understand, so I didn't pay too much attention to it. It wasn't really until, so I guess November 26, 2021, my family caught the COVID virus. And unfortunately, my oldest and only son passed away very, very suddenly from COVID complications. And when I said means suddenly, it literally, I felt like I was blindsided. The day before, he was actually sitting up in bed, playing on his Wii U. And I thought, oh, good, he's finally getting better. And the next day I slept in because I was still very, very sick myself. And my daughter, she came to wake me up. It was, he was 20 at the time, she was 18. And she said, Mom, you better come. And I went to his room and he was struggling to breathe. I took him to the hospital around 4 p.m. And by 10 p.m. that evening, he passed away from, it was COVID pneumonia. I remember going into the room and singing to him like I have done since he was a baby. I had him when I was 15, so we literally grew up together. And like anyone, I was devastated. And I was terrified that I was not ready to say goodbye. So I went to a psychic medium fair. That's where I had my first connection with my son. And then I found the wonderful group, Mediumship Communicating with the Dead, Grief and Loss. Since joining this group, I've met so many other mediums and other group members. Some have become very, I would like to say, lifelong friends. But I also met our admin, Hollis Taylor, and I had an astrology death chart reading with them, which is a very wonderful reading. And I remember at the end of the reading, mind you, sorry, I always go forward and then I have to go back. But at the psychic medium fair, I remember asking the medium there if I could learn how to connect. And they kind of said, well, it's either you're born with it or you're not. Well, here's the thing that I've learned is we're all born with the ability to connect with our loved ones. It's just learning to trust in yourself, trust in what you're receiving from your loved ones and spirit. And that's what Hollis taught me. They taught me to trust. And since then, I started giving readings here and there. And then I joined Psychic Insights that also Hollis runs. And my son plays a huge part in my mediumship because it's my son that helps bring your loved ones to our readings to guide them. So he guides them to our readings and I just give them a voice. I always like to share a picture so everyone can see who's helping your loved ones on the other side. And also, it's a promise that I kept to my son that somehow, some way, everyone would know his story and know his face and know his name. So every time I do my lives and I see you say, hi, Jonah, it really, truly means the world to me. So thank you all. This is my son. This is who helps your loved ones. Sorry, I'm still learning how to. His name's Jonah. He was about, I want to say 17, maybe 18 in this picture. And we were walking home, and this butterfly just landed on his shoulder. But that's the boy, the young man that helps your loved ones come through. I just want to do, before we start, I'm just going to quickly acknowledge the other people who came. So Crystal 1983 says, hi, I'm so sorry to hear this. Oh, thank you, Crystal, and welcome to my live. Thank you for joining. Neela says, hello. And then Crystal also says, so sweet and wow. Well, thank you, Crystal. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Tracy in the group, Tracy says, hi, Jonah. Thank you for helping your mama. Eric says, hey, Sarah. Hi, Eric. Thank you for joining. Sarah Smiles says, you're beautiful, Sarah. I love your hair and bless your beautiful heart. Oh, thank you, gorgeous. And Tracy says, he is so handsome. You know, Tracy, thank you so much. And yeah, I'm a vain mom. I'm like, yeah, but all of us have children that, you know, are beautiful and handsome and precious, because that's how all children are. Every life is precious. Elaine says, he is so handsome, Sarah. I'm so sorry for your loss. You know, Elaine, thank you so much. And I'm so sorry for your beautiful daughter as well. Carla says, hello, Carla. Thank you for joining. Okay. So I always ask for everyone's permission to connect with your energy and that of your loved ones. And let's start. Oh, I just want to give a shout out to Alyssa. Alyssa says, sorry for your loss. Amazing he's still around and to help guide you. Thank you, Alyssa. I am so appreciative. He is literally my rock. All my children are. I love my son and my daughters very much. So I wouldn't be here without them. Laura just says, you do amazing. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate. I've always noticed Laura and a few others have been to each of my lives. So thank you all for joining. I'm just going to leave. So if anyone is interested in booking, here is my site. It's www.psychicinsights.life/SarahRedcrow-2. So Crystal 1983 said, can I just ask a regular question, not mediumship? Of course, Crystal, you may ask away, and I will do my best to answer you. Okay, and I just have to give a shout out to Charlene Donovan. Says, thank you to your son, Jonah, for helping bringing these beautiful souls. Thank you, Charlene. I appreciate that so much. Eric says, hey, Jonah, thank you for helping your amazing mom. And also thank you for helping bring through my wife. Oh, thank you, Eric. And Tracy says, I love you and your son. We love you too, Tracy. Oh, Sue, you're making me blush. You guys are making me blush. Sue says, Sarah and Jonah are amazing. One for private readings, one-on-one for private readings. Thank you. Okay, let's get this. And also, Crystal, if you're wanting to ask a more private question, you can definitely just, I think you can just put a question to me in the comments. Laura just says, I want to have a reading if I could stay awake long enough one night. Okay, let's get this party started. Okay. So I have a younger girl stepping forward. I would put her between the ages of 14 to maybe 16. She's about, I want to say about maybe 5'4" in height, a little bit taller than me. She has shoulder length. It's almost like a strawberry blonde hair. She has like very sweet girl next door features. She's got blue eyes. They're like big blue eyes, very clear blue. I notice that she keeps on tucking her hair behind her ear. As she's like stepping forward, I see her in a white t-shirt and then a light pink zip up hoodie. And she's wearing light gray sweatpants and white runners. I notice when she smiles, so this is how I'm seeing her, is she's like, she keeps her eyes, like she looks down, but her eyes keep darting up, and she like gives me a shy smile. So I take her personality to be shy, but I also feel that when she's around her friends, her loved ones, like her personality just really comes out. She is showing me, I feel that she either lived where there was horses or she rode horses, because she is showing me her brushing the coat of what looks like a brown horse. The mane, it's a black, and the horse has like a white, it's not a very white, very big white strip, but it's like thinner. Would anybody be able to recognize this beautiful girl? So again, I'll just quickly give a description of her. I would put her between the ages of 14 to 16 at the most. I would put her about 5'4" in height. She has shoulder length. It almost looks like a strawberry blonde hair, big clear blue eyes. I get from her personality is somewhat shy, but I also get like a fun personality from her too, that when she's comfortable around like friends, family, it's like her true self just kind of comes out. She is wearing a white t-shirt with a light pink zip up hoodie and light gray sweatpants, and she's wearing white running shoes. She keeps on showing me her putting her hair behind her ear, and when the reason why I get the personality is somewhat shy is because I keep seeing her like look down and kind of like look up, and she gives me like a little half smile. Would anybody be able to recognize her? She also may have ridden horses or has been very familiar with horses. She is showing me her like brushing a brown horse. It has like a black mane and a white marking down its nose, but it's not like a wide white marking. It's like a thin little strip. And as I'm quickly waiting, I'm just going to read. So Crystal 1983 says, I'm an empath. I feel deeply. I would love to know if my ex and I will work things out peacefully in the future. Right now, it's so messy. Looking forward for calmer waters. And Crystal, I'm really feeling just, take it slow. I do feel that as much as it's hard to have that time apart, I think just that little bit of time and let everyone to gather their inner thoughts and feelings and to really just kind of work it out for each other. I do feel that at some point, you'll be able to have that sit down where your feelings of being hurt and confused will be able to settle a little bit. Okay. I am sending you so much love and light. Crystal says, not reconciliation, just be peaceful. And that's what I got, hun. It's just, I think, just some time apart, just for everyone to kind of gather. And I feel like it was very like a whirlwind, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to see in the group if anyone can recognize this young girl. Okay, so I'm just going to ask her if she has any messages for us tonight. And I'm not too sure if anyone else, but when she steps close to me, I smell like strawberries, but almost like, that it's like that it reminds me of like that strawberry shortcake smell. We all know, remember those dolls? They have that like strawberry shortcake smell. It's like, I feel that might have been like her signature scent. She is just saying that she just wanted her family, especially her mother. I feel that her and her mom were very, very close. She's showing me a lady that looks very similar to her, but she has like almost like kind of a bob haircut. It comes to her cheekbones. She's showing me her like hugging her mom very tightly. They look very similar. And she just says, I just want my mom to know that I'm safe. She says, I'm still there, Mom. I hear you. And she's also showing me a really white, fluffy teddy bear with a pink bow. And she's showing me her mom like holding this teddy bear. She says, Mom, every time you hug this teddy bear, I feel your hugs. And just know that I'm hugging you back. I just want to thank her for stepping forward tonight. And I really hope that her mom does hear this, or her family. Thank you, sweetheart, for stepping forward. So, Sonia, I do have Malachi here. I did sense him. So, Sonia, if you're still here, he wants you to know, he says, Mom, he says, don't worry, it's going to work out. I love you. He says, Mom, I'm doing good. He says, I got my grand. When he says, it sounds like a mix between grandma, gram, or nan. But I also see your mom. She's a little bit taller than him, not by much. And she's showing me her holding his shoulders and giving him like kind of a squeeze. And she goes, it's okay. She calls you her baby. She says, it's okay. She goes, we're still there with you. Malachi was just saying, for one of his siblings, he keeps showing me him like ruffling his hair. I feel that that's his way of trying to like let his sibling know. Would you understand that in life they kind of like to like tease each other, like just that playful like sibling banter? There was great love between them, but also that like, I'm gonna bug you. He's just showing me that he still does that. So if one of yours, I feel this is a brother, um, Sonia, I wouldn't be if you were to ask either. I really feel this is a brother to Malachi, but if he's been feeling like someone playing with his hair, Malachi says, "That's me. That's me." He's like, it's so cute because he goes like this. He like points his thumb and he goes, "That's me." And he has this huge smile. He says, "Mama," he said, "please know that I'm with you and I love you." He says, "I won't leave your side, not ever." He says, "Not ever, never, never." But he is doing good. He says, "I love you so much, Mom." So I just want to thank you, Sonia, for being here. And thank you, Malachi, for being brave because I did feel him being shy at first, and for your beautiful mom. And thank you again. Uh, so Donna says, I really need to hear from my brother-in-law. I loved him so much. Donna, did you mean brother-in-law or is his name Lee? I just didn't want to get that mixed up. And definitely, I invite him to step forward. I invite all your loved ones into our reading tonight. And thank you for joining us. Aw, so Sonia just says, my child angel said he has that feeling. Sonia, just know that Malachi is trying his best to really let you guys know that he's there. He was also just showing me, besides like kind of ruffling the hair, do you sometimes hear like tapping? Because he's showing me like him going by, it looks like a kitchen table and like tapping his fingers. Like he's trying to let you guys know that I am here. I'm here. Sonia says, thank you so much. I love you, Malachi. Thank you, Sonia, for being here tonight. And just, he knows, he hears you, hon. Danielle says, I'm asking Nash or my grandfather Page to come through, please. I would love to hear from you. Oh, Danielle, definitely invite them through, and I invite them as well. Okay, sorry. So Donna says, brother-in-law. Thank you for clearing that, Donna. Latoya says, sorry, and Latoya says, may I have a general whatever comes out for me, please? Thank you. So Latoya, definitely. I am doing, it's kind of, tonight we're going to do a little bit mixture of spirit-led and who I feel most drawn to, but definitely just ask your loved ones, step forward. And Teresa says, hi, Sarah. Hi, Teresa. Thank you for joining. Oh, Teresa also says, I'm glad I've caught your live. Well, I'm so glad too. And thank you for joining. Oh, so Latoya, you're asking, was it a list? So Latoya, usually I do spirit led. So that just means whoever steps forward. And sometimes I will see who I'm drawn to. So when it's spirit led, it's just as our loved ones in spirit step forward, I will describe how they look, their personality, and I just ask each and every one of you to just listen, and anything that resonates with you or sounds familiar, please speak up, and then from there, I'll just see who can match up with most, if not all, of what I give. So Neela says, I asked my ex-husband to come forward. Let's hope he hears me. Still love him very much and miss him. Aw. And that's awesome to ask him to step forward. Tracy says, come on, hubby, step forward. Laugh out. I need to hear from you. Okay, let's see who else would love to step forward tonight. So I do have he's an older gentleman. He's quite tall. I would put him maybe about 6 foot, 6'3" at most. Um he has nice full head of hair, but it's gray and it's kind of curly. It's a little but comes a little bit by his ears like that. So it kind of flips up, but on top there's some curl. He does have a mustache. He's wearing blue jeans, and he also has like a button up jean shirt. So like a jean dress shirt, and underneath he has a black t-shirt on. When I look down, I see on his feet he's wearing black cowboy boots, but they're not fancy cowboy boots, he says, not the fancy ones. These were kind of like his everyday attire. He is showing me, I do feel that he might have been a truck driver as his occupation in life. He was showing me a big rig. It's white, and I do see some like light blue writing on the door, but it's really small. I can't really make it out. Um, he has like a very laid back personality. He says that he's quick to lend a hand. Would anybody be able to recognize him? When he steps close to me, I really get, that Old Spice men's cologne. I really smell that very strongly on him. He's saying you can never have enough Old Spice. He's like, it's a man smell. That's how he says it's a man smell. Would anybody be able to recognize him? So Sue says, "Oh, this sounds like my grandfather. I didn't know him well." Sue, would you understand like how he's showing me? Like, I do feel that he is older. I want to say maybe 60s, but yet he still has that young man mentality about him. Um, he was saying that like he drove truck for years. Like that was he did long haul, and then he was saying that once he settled down and the baby started coming, he was doing more like in town jobs. Um, but he like for his age, it's like he didn't really show it. Like he looked good, like he was fit for his age. Would you understand that? Aw, Teresa says, I hope he resonates to someone here. Me too. He has a fun personality. So, again, I'll just do a quick recap. So, he's quite tall. I would put him between maybe 6 foot, 6'3" at the most. About average body weight, not too slim, not overweight. Um, he's saying you're describing the three bears. So, he has some humor to him too. He's wearing blue jeans. I see him in black cowboy boots, but they're not like, those fancy ones. The toe is a little bit square toed. Um, he also has a blue dress up, like dress shirt, but jean style with a black t-shirt, and he does have a mustache. Um, I do feel that he was a truck driver because he keeps on showing me him like jumping out of like when he okay, so let's say that better. So when he would stop, he would kind of like hop out of his truck. And the truck, it's a white rig truck, so it's a big rig. There is some blue writing on the door, but I can't quite make it out. So also Tracy said, he sounds like my pop, just not the cowboy boots. Okay, so Tracy, what all can you take? And then I'm just going to read because Sue commented as well. So, oops. So Sue says, yes, older, yes, truck driver his entire life. Yes, he looked younger than he was. So, yes, tall, white hair, average build, but big overall, big, tall, not overweight. Yeah, cowboy type dressing and music, country. You know what, Sue? You definitely described him to a T. I just want to go and see what Tracy said, because sometimes, as for those of you who have joined my live, sometimes I get what we call piggybacking. So two come in at once. And then Tracy just says, I can take everything but the cowboy boots. So right now I do feel drawn to Sue. Would you understand, was your grandmother or his wife, like, because your grandfather's quite tall, like he was a very impressive looking man, but she was, especially, he calls her like his little doll or darling. Would you understand that, Sue? How he's showing me her, she's quite shorter. Sue knows what I'm talking about by piggybacking. And Donna says, sounds like Alan Harrington. So, Don, I'm not too sure who that is, but I'm just going to describe. So, Sue, would you understand your grandmother? She was shorter, but they like were two peas in a pod. Like, you wouldn't find one without the other. And he just mentions like when like he was doing like long hauls, but then he says once he settled down and the babies started coming, he started driving like more short hauls, not like these big long trips. Would you understand that? And Tracy just says, I think it's for Sue, maybe. Tracy, I do believe the first that step forward, but I do feel there is another gentleman with him, but I don't feel them connected like we said before, piggybacking. So Sue just says, my grandma was short, laugh out, about a foot shorter than him, laugh out loud, but they were divorced. So possibly his second wife. He had a great relationship with second wife. Sue, would you understand, was your, sorry, his second wife, did she have like blonde hair? And it, I kind of want to say it was like not overly short, but kind of came to like just below her chin, and would wear like she was kind of dainty, is what I'm getting from him. He like, and would you understand him showing me like he would kind of pick her up by like on the side, but it was like for him, he's just very, his personality is very playful. And Sue, would you understand your grandfather, because I do see your son stepping forward with him. What he's saying is that, would you understand that like when your son was little, your grandfather would like took him under his wing, like that was his boy. So Sue just says, yes, blonde hair, second wife. Yes, short hair. Yes, she didn't look like she belonged with him. And he was a jokester. Would you understand? Because as soon as you said he was a jokester, he was like going like, want to pull my finger? And he's like laughing. He just wants you to know, he goes, would you understand him calling you like baby doll? Like in that you were his little princess. is basically the feeling that I'm getting from him. Okay, so this is interesting, and thank you, Sue, for saying this. So she says, no, my son never met him. Your grandfather is saying, well, he knows me now. He goes, I'm teaching him the ropes. Would you understand, Sue, that your grandfather is kind of making me feel like you were kind of his little buddy, is what he's saying. He does want you to know that he goes, don't you worry. He goes, he says, I'm still watching over you. He says, we're doing just fine. He says, your son is saying, we're doing great, Mom. And he's winking and he's kind of chuckling to himself. So he says, we're doing great, Mom. And he winks and he kind of like looks like that. And your grandfather kind of looks at him like, and I just heard him. He goes, I'll tell you later. So I just want you to know, Sue, that your grandfather is still very much with you. He says, you're doing fine. He goes, you're strong. He says, you're strong like me. He says, don't you forget that, girl. He says, I love you so much. Oops. So Sue just says, yes, I was the only one of his grandchildren he really liked. He didn't like the others. He says, because you listened to me. He goes, he says that you guys match personalities. So Sue just says, I was just telling my granddaughter about him last week. He says that she's a beautiful, beautiful girl. She reminds him so much of you. So I just want to thank him for stepping by and thank your son for making a brief appearance. Thank you, Sue, for being here tonight. So the other gentleman that I felt behind him, so he's not quite as tall as Sue's grandfather. He's a little bit on the shorter side, but not by much. I would put him maybe between 5'11", 5'12". It's funny because like he's going like standing really straight, really tall. Sue's grandfather just says, he goes, you're about this. He goes, he's about that much shorter than me. This gentleman, his hair is shorter as well. It's gray, so he's funny because he goes, yeah, well, you might have the heights, but I got the looks. They're both handsome men. Let's just say that. This other gentleman stepping forward, he is showing me him wearing blue jeans. His jeans are a little bit the darker wash. I see him in work boots. They're darker brown. And it keeps on showing me him wearing like work gloves. They're like a leather work gloves. For what he's wearing on top, he has like a darker gray t-shirt on. For him as well, I do feel that he did drive trucks because he's also showing me another big rig. His is red though. Interesting enough, I'm kind of wondering if he wasn't driving cattle, like the long haul cattle, because when I see this big red truck and then I see the trailer and it has like it's a type with like the holes so you can transport livestock, and I keep hearing moo, like cows. Would anybody be able to recognize this gentleman? Or Tracy, does this sound like your grandfather? Oh, and as I was giving Sue her message, I just want to like acknowledge that Tracy did answer. Tracy says, my grandma was a lot shorter, but they were peas in a pod. My grandma wore a blonde wig. Laugh out loud. Sorry for your loss, Sue. Great reading, Sarah. Thank you, Tracy. Tracy says everything, just not work boots. Okay. I'm just going to go to other and just see if anyone else can like, take this man. Oh, sorry. Oh, so I just want to say to Teresa, just says, I feel so privileged that I'm open and sensitive spirit, although it's not always the nicest of experience when it's an unknown spirit with a really, really heavy presence. And you know, Tracy, a lot of times when you feel that like heaviness, it's actually just kind of our own sense of weariness or that guardedness. And just to let you know, like spirit, they can't harm you. Sometimes, yes, they can be alarming, or when we have that own little bit self doubt or fear, we kind of like portray that out. But if you ever feel like spirit is scaring you, just say, hey, can you please leave? Spirit listens. They're very courteous, you know. This gentleman that I have right now, he's going like this, and he goes, well, dang. He goes, that's how he says, well, dang. He goes, I didn't lose my, uh, he's saying my etiquette is what he's saying. But I just want to answer Teresa. Carrie, thank you for joining. Says, hey, Sarah, good to see you. Good to see you too, Carrie. Thank you. So, Starry said, just asked if there's a list. So no, hun, there's no list tonight. I'm just doing spirit led, and also whoever I feel drawn to. So spirit led just means that as our loved ones come through, I'd give a description of how they look and then a quick little message from them. Oh, Megan. Well, I'm sorry that your phone never sent you a message, but I'm glad you're here. Teresa, so I just want to answer you. So Teresa says, it was just a few hours after my brother visited that I had that heavy feeling. And you know what, Teresa, sometimes when you're in that grief, that heavy feeling is that grief that you're feeling. And Teresa says, my dad never comes and my Nana only once. And you know, Teresa, just know that they are with you always. So Tracy, I just want to. So Tracy said he did have a red rig until he retired. Tracy, would you understand? Did he drive like cattle runs? Like I feel that it wasn't just cattle runs; it was other things. But at one point, he's making it like known that yes, he did cattle runs. I do feel, Tracy, that I am connected with you at the moment. Also, I want to say hello, Kristen. Thank you for joining. So, Tracy, the reason why I feel like I'm connected with you right now, because did your grandfather and your husband know each other? Because your husband just stepped forward, and would you understand him like not in a mean way, but you know that joking guy way, like where he kind of like swats him on the back and he goes, hey there. And um your husband just says, hello, darling. I heard you call. I'm here. He says, Tracy's husband, he's funny, but he rubs his hand together and he goes, your wish, my command. So Tracy, Tracy just says maybe cattle when he was younger. So, Tracy, your grandfather is saying that he goes, I'm still here, girlie. He says, just because he said, just because my old bones had to be laid to rest, he goes, I'm still kicking. He says, besides, he goes, someone has to keep this good old boy in line. And does a SWAT on your husband's back. Would you understand them saying, "There go, don't you worry about us"? He goes, he shows me them playing. It looks like crib or like card games. He says, we're just occupying time. He goes, but we're still very much around you, love. That's from your husband. Your grandfather is showing me him giving you like big kisses on your cheeks. And Tracy just says, "Oh, hi, hun." And Tracy also acknowledged that, yes, they knew each other. So I just want to thank both of them for stepping forward. And thank you, Tracy, for coming tonight. Okay, let's just see who else I have tonight. So I do have another young girl here. I would put her, I want to say between the ages of, I want to say between the ages of 13 to possibly 16, the oldest. She reminds me of, you know, that when Julia Roberts played Tinkerbell in Hook, that kind of like a little bit of spiky pixie hairstyle, except for hair. Her hair is very, very dark brown. She's got big, beautiful brown eyes, a narrow nose, very petite features. She's not that tall. I would put her maybe about 5'2" at the most. She has like this gorgeous smile, like a very full smile. She's wearing these black sweatpants. They're kind of on the baggy side. She has, it looks like a light purple t-shirt, and she's also wearing a zip-up hoodie, but hers is black. It's baggier. I noticed like on her t-shirt, it looks like what is that? Rainbow Dash from My Little Ponies. Melissa Taylor Sanders says, "Great reading, Sarah." Thank you, Melissa, and thank you for joining. Would anybody be able to recognize this young girl? She is showing me that she does have some piercings on her ear, so it kind of starts like up here and down. She kind of gives me this like almost like this little, she's trying to find herself, you know, she still has like that little girl, you know, be down to play with Barbies and whatnot, but also has that little bit like she's trying to like test the waters. Like, is she kind of edgy? She does have a little bit of freckling on her nose, not a whole lot. Would anybody be able to recognize this beautiful child? So as I'm just waiting, Tracy just says, "I miss my Pop Pop so much. They were great together, my husband and Pop Pop." And know, Tracy, that they are still together. And like they said, just kicking it. Kristen just says, "I miss my husband so much. He never comes through. Not too sure why, but I know he is with me." And, you know, Kristen, definitely just know he is with you. And don't be discouraged if your loved one does not come through, especially if he might have been more of a private person in life. I found that out myself through my son. I would always go on the lives, and sometimes he would come through, but it wasn't until one of my lives with Stacy Siegel Brickley that she private messaged and said, "Your son is here. He has more to say, but he wanted to do it privately." Tracy just says, giving them big kisses. And Tracy says, thank you, Sarah, for bringing them forward. Love you, girl. Aw, love you too, Tracy. Thank you for joining tonight. So again, I'm just going to do a quick recap of this young girl. I would put her between the ages of 13 to maybe like 15, 16 at the most, but I just feel she's very young. She's slender build. She has really petite features, big brown eyes, kind of that spiky little like pixie haircut. Her hair is very dark brown. She is showing me like she's wearing kind of baggy sweatpants. I see when I looked at her shoes, they're Converse. They're just the black Converse shoes. She's wearing a light purple t-shirt. I see that character Rainbow Dash from My Little Ponies on the front. And she has like a zip up black hoodie. It's oversized. So I noticed like her pants and her hoodie, they're quite baggy. She does have earrings like kind of going from here and down her ear. I do feel that she's in this moment, like she was just kind of like trying to find herself. Would anybody be able to recognize her? And she does have a little bit of like freckling on her bridge of her nose. Oh, I just want to say, so Tracy says, this is the first time my Pop ever came through. He died in 1989. Oh, well, I'm glad he came through. So I'm just going to ask this girl if she has anything else that she could show me. So she was, I'm not too sure if this would be significant, but she was showing me, it looks like she's in a kitchen, and it looks like she's making candy apples with someone. I want to say maybe her mom, but I'm getting like more of like an aunt vibe. She's literally sitting on the kitchen counter with her like legs crossed, and I'm just going to ask her if she has any messages. She's also showing me this cat. It looks like a ragdoll breed, like with white fur, fluffy, but kind of has like that light brown markings and kind of grayish brown ears. She is saying that yes. Again, I'm not too sure if she's like saying the cats, because I don't always get names, but I keep on hearing like it's like muffins or something. But she's saying, yes, that's me when the cat goes crazy, is what she's saying. So she is kind of like biting her fingernail, and she's like, she goes, I just want them. And I think she means like her family, her parents. She goes, I want them to know that I'm still around. She says, I'm safe. She says that I just have to say, she reminds me a lot of my 13-year-old, that where they're trying to find themselves, and they're trying to have that, they have that sweet little childlike to them, but they're trying to be like whatever. She's saying, yeah, she's like, heaven's good. She's like, but she also says, I miss, she says, I miss giving my mom hugs. She says, please tell my dad that I love him. I really feel that she was like a daddy's girl. So if you're watching and you might be able to recognize this girl, even if she might not be part of your family, but you know her family, please just let them know that she's all right. and she loves them. And when the cat acts weird, that's her playing with the cat. Sue just says, "Oh, what a sweet girl. I hope her family gets to see this later. You did fantastic, Sarah and Jonah. So much detail. Amazing. Thank you, Sue." I appreciate everyone here and all your support. So Kristen, I just want to acknowledge, says, "That makes a lot of sense. He went missing and I'm left with so many unanswered questions. I need to get a private reading and hope that I can get some answers, which will help me have a little closure and peace." Oh, Kristen, I'm so sorry. That the unknown of not knowing what happened, or if they are still here or not. Like, I'm sending you so much love and strength. And, be strong, Kristen. And I know you have been, but it's exhausting as well. So I'm giving you so much love and strength. And thank you, Tracy. Tracy says, "Great reading, Sarah." Thank you. I appreciate you. Megan Howard sends a heart. And thank you, Megan, for joining tonight. So I'm just going to see if there's any more loved ones who would love to come through tonight. Oh, so Alyssa says, "I'll try to catch you next time. I'm getting tired." Oh, sweet dreams. And like I always say, sweet dreams, jello beans. Thank you for your love and support, Alyssa. And I will be here every Wednesday, unless otherwise. Teresa says, "Absolutely amazing." Thank you, Teresa. So I do have a woman stepping forward. I would put her, she looks to be like maybe in her 40s. I'd put her about 5'2". She has brown hair. It's kind of curly. She's saying it, she likes to she would always like put it up either in a clip or a hair tie, because she was saying, she keeps on mentioning the humid air would make it go like poof. So I'm guessing that where she lived was very humid and hot at times. She has a light blue tank top on, and she's showing me her wearing like white shorts and like the sandals. She's like, "Oh, don't mind my feet." She goes, "There's nothing special." I feel that she might have like was self-conscious about her feet, because usually when I describe shoes, she's just like, she right away, she's like, she's like, "Don't look at them." She's like, "Just, that's not important." I do feel that she wore glasses, but I feel that she didn't quite like wearing glasses, because I see her like this, but she's like putting them on top of her head. Would anybody be able to recognize her? I feel that she could be a chatterbox when she wanted to, but she has kind of a shyness to her as well. And I just want to say, so Melissa Taylor Sanders says, "Book with Sarah. She's absolutely amazing in her gifts. Her and Jonah are the best." Oh, thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that so much. So I'm just going to look over here. Oh, Tracy says, "Good night, Alyssa." That's so sweet. Thank you, Tracy. So would anybody be able to recognize this beautiful lady? I would put her about 5'1", 5'2", maybe mid-40s. She's got brown hair. It's curly. She used to usually keep it up, because she's saying the humidity would just make it go poof. She does wear glasses. They're almost kind of like the shape of mine, but they're a darker frame. And I feel that she didn't really care to wear them too much, because she'd put them up on her head. She is wearing a light blue tank top, and like white shorts and sandals. I feel that she might have been kind of like, because every time I try to like describe her shoes, she's like, don't, she's like, we don't need to describe them. She is showing me that I do feel that she might have had like a very green thumb, because she's showing me her gardening. The house that she's showing me, it's like a gray, it almost looks like a brick, but like stone. In the front, there's like, I see a porch. The porch is white, and then there's stairs, and along the porch, it looks like almost like a gray stone wall and flower beds on either side. She was saying, she goes, this heat was awful for her flowers at times. So she's saying, so I really feel that where she lives, it was a very hot, humid climate. Would anybody be able to recognize her? Okay. Um, oh, so Carrie just says, is her name Sarah? It kind of sounds like an old friend who passed away a few years ago. Um, I could definitely ask, because as you know, I don't often get names. But would you understand, Carrie? Not only was she really good with like gardening and that, but she kind of had that, like, she could be a real chatterbox. Um, hmm. She's also showing me that she liked watching daytime TV. So she's showing me like, my goodness, I'm not, but I think it's called like, no, The Voice is like, she said, she's saying that's a good one too. So her hobbies were gardening, and she's saying that she liked that daytime TV. Carrie, would you be able to understand? Like, would you be able to recognize that? And I'll just ask her, is your name Sarah? So Carrie, when I asked her, she did start smiling, but she didn't really like acknowledge either. Okay, so Carrie says, I'm not sure about daytime TV, but she was shy and quiet, but talkative around certain people. Would you understand too that, oh, sorry, sorry, I'm just trying to hear her, because she keeps on like kind of going back and forth. I was like not pacing, but like she's almost had that on the go energy as well. I keep on like feeling like real, there's like little spitfire as well. um so, Hannah, is your name Sarah? Tracy, I mean Carrie, sorry. Her name, did, would you understand, because she's showing me Sarah but without an H? Did she spell hers in that way? Oh, so Tracy just asked if I could recap. So she's shorter. I would put her in her like mid 40s. Um, but shoulder length hair. It's darker brown, curly. I feel where she lived, it was very humid, because she would always like put it up, because she's saying that it would like her hair would be frizzy all the times. She's wearing a light blue tank top, white shorts. So Carrie just says, yes, there was no H. Okay, Carrie, I do feel that I might be connected to you, because when I was asking her if her name is Sarah, she kind of gave me this look, but then she was like, it was kind of funny, because she was like going like this and then trying to make like an H. That's where I kind of like, she was like showing me like no, and then she was showing me an H. So that's why I thought I'd ask. Um, and then Carrie says, and yes, and PA in the summer, it gets super humid. So I do feel that I am with you, Carrie. Um, she is just saying, she goes, I still am doing my gardening. She goes, it's a lot more easier here. Because she was saying, like, in spirit, the one thing that I've really learned is we could have it however we most desire. So Carrie says she passed unexpectedly everything from the vaccine. I'm so sorry to hear that. She just wants you to know that she says, ooh, girl, she says, I miss our gossip. That's what she's saying. She says, I miss our talks. She says, I can still talk. She says, it's just people don't hear me. Like, what she's saying is, people in spirit, they hear, but our loved ones, when they try to talk to us, sometimes we don't always pick up the frequency. But she says, I'm still very much with you. Carrie just says her boyfriend, my friend, was totally devastated. She is just saying, she goes, tell him that I'll always be his heart and he'll always be mine. She says, tell him that I'm still very much around. Would you understand, like, she wore perfume, it almost reminds me of like vanilla, like, not, there's a little hint of floral, but more like as if baked goods, like that kind of vanilla brown sugar, very like warm smell. I do feel that that's like one way that she shows him that she's around, is like that he'll catch like whiffs of her. She does want him, she says, let my love know that it's okay. She says, it's okay, live your life. I'll meet you when it's your time to be with me. She says, I love him forever. And she's blowing you kisses, Carrie. And she wants to thank you for not only being such a good friend to her, but to him as well. And Carrie just says, I'll have to ask him if he smells it. That's just like my indicator that that's like maybe one of her ways of letting him know. Just because where she was like making me smell that. But she does want to say thank you for not only being there for her, but for him. She says, you have always came through for so many people. She does tell you, Carrie, she says, take care of yourself. And she's blowing you kisses. I just want to thank her for coming tonight. And thank you, Carrie. And Carrie just says, oh, thank you. I really appreciate each and every one of you for joining me always, for giving me your love and support. Carrie just, Carrie says, thank you so much. And thank you, Jonah. Thank you, Carrie. And Jonah, he's waving. He says, thank you for acknowledging him. So a message from my son is that he wants all of you to know that all the love that you show him, he feels that. And even though his life was short, he goes, thank you. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you as well for always being here and joining. Carrie just says she was also friends with my brother. Oh, and I know Carrie's brother has come through before, so thank you. Megan just says, beautiful message. Thank you, Megan. I just, again, want to say thank you all for coming here tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. I have been trying a little something lately before we end our session. I do want to try to do a card pull for the group. So these are my cards. Bear with me. Oh, I really love this. So the card I pulled for the group tonight is the Six of Wands. And I like to see these two stepping in front as representing us here on the side of the veil. And if you look behind them, look at all the group of people. I feel that that represents your loved ones. And I do find it interesting how the gentleman in the card is holding a cat, because as most of us have heard and known, animals are known to see spirit and they bring comfort, right? Like, who doesn't love to cuddle a cat or a dog or any other type of animal? And I love this one too. I just need to show because I was looking. Oh, sorry. If you notice this gentleman in the back holding a light and, well, a torch, really. And I just think how beautiful, because they are truly guiding us. Always have faith and trust. Believe in what you receive from your loved ones. Know that they are with you and they will not leave your side. For those of you who got a reading tonight, if you would be so kind to leave me a review, I appreciate it so much. I love reading them. And for those of you who did not receive a reading tonight, please don't lose faith, don't lose hope. I'm on every Wednesday, then Hollis and Nicole, and of course, Mama Cole. Just know that your loved one is there walking beside you. And mamas, know that that love that you share with your baby, and this goes for anyone really, it's endless, pure, true, and nothing will ever break that. I want to thank my son, Jonah, for once again guiding your loved ones here tonight. I want to thank your loved ones in spirit for trusting me to give them a voice. And thank you all so very much. I'm sending you each my love to wrap around you, my strength to hold you all tight, and my healing light to guide you. So with that, I wish you all blessings and light, and thank you again for joining me at the Crow's Nest. And I will see you all next Wednesday. Good night. I just want to say quickly to give shout outs before we go. So Neela says, have a good night. Thank you, Neela. Have a good night. Laura says, you do amazing. You should be very proud of you all. Thank you, Laura, sorry. Carrie, they will stare at nothing and meow. I can tell they can see someone. Exactly, right? Sue just says, such a beautiful night. Thank you so much, Sarah and Jonah. We are all grateful for you both. And, we are grateful for each and every one of you. Laura says, good night. Carrie, sending you love too, sending you all love. And Wendy says, good night, Sarah and Jonah. Thank you, Wendy. Good night. I just want to give a quick shout out to our mediumship group. Eric says, thank you, Sarah. I will be in touch soon so I can book a private reading. Thank you, Eric. Good night. And hi, Melissa. Sending you all so much love and light. And thank you again for joining me in the Crow's Nest. I'm sending you so much love and light. And thank you to your loved ones as well. Good night.